I look out there in the congregation at this moment and I see a young man who can truly say that the power and the presence of God within him has done so much for him that he just can't tell it all, but he's going to tell some of it anyway. This young man is about 26 years old. He's Mr. Leon Scott, and while I'm talking about him, I want him to be coming up this way. This fine young man who's coming to talk to us now, a few months ago, he said he was so disgusted and discouraged with life that he couldn't even find his mind, and he thought about committing suicide. But one night while he was looking through the TV guide, he saw an ad in there for our Joy of Living telecast with Reverend Ike. And he decided that's what I need, some joy of living. And he watched the telecast that night. And he heard me talking about what the presence and power of God within can do for a person. How it can lift you and make you healthy, happy, loving, and successful. And he said, that's for me. And so he came down to the church after that telecast. And when he got here, he really got turned on to life. He had been unable to find a job for quite some time because he was so disgusted with himself and disgusted with life. And so he went out and got a job as an enrollment counselor and started making $230 a day. That's not bad, starting from disgusted rock bottom. I did some arithmetic on that. If you would do that for 5 days, that comes to about $1,150 a week. How much?
$1,180.
$1,180 a week from rock bottom, disgusted and busted condition, if you please. But listen, that job as an enrollment counselor, he got so good at it, it didn't even take up all of his time. So that God mind in him that I taught him about began to work. And he said to himself, he says, now, all of this extra time that I've got, I could use this extra time to make some more money. So he gets greedy like me, you know, when they start hanging around me, they get real ambitious. And so this young man incorporated his own company. I think it's
Les Scott Associates.
Les Scott Associates. And distributes security devices. And so he's got his own company going, plus he's still got that same job as an enrollment counselor at a technical school. And believe you me, he is together. Doesn't he look together, everybody? Let's step out here a little closer to the congregation. Now, Scotty, I want you to tell these wonderful people here and the people looking in by television what your experience was and how you found the mind of God in you.
Well, it began when I first started attending these services. I realized that something had been wrong with me before I came in here, and I started practicing and listening to Reverend Ike's words. He said, finding that God presence within me could solve all of my problems, because everything that I needed was actually right inside of me. So I let my mind and my imagination start playing. And I started creating a company within itself, and I built all sorts of wonderful things that would attract even my men that are working with me. And they say to me every day, you know, this is fantastic. I don't see how you could give up so much money to the men. I say, well, nothing but the best for my men.
So you have a lot of men working for you in your company now, don't you?
Right.
How about that? Let me interrupt you one moment just to say this. You know, when you find this presence, this power, this mind of God in you, you won't even be looking for a job any longer. You will create jobs. Do you remember that? Some of you people are always going around looking for a job, trying to find a job. If you find this mind and this power of God in you like this man, you will create jobs to give to other people.
I'd just like to say this because I think it'll benefit a lot of young people out there. before I met Reverend Ike, I was really heavy into the booze and drug scene. And you can understand what that means. Boy, that was really disaster. And that probably played an important role in my going down. But when I decided to find that God presence within me, I stopped drinking and smoking grass and all that stuff just like that. And I don't even have an urge for it.
You say that night you were in quite a desperate mood when you were looking through the TV guide and saw this program for the first time.
As a matter of fact, I just came from what I call psychological hell. I'd been trying to contemplate what the heck should I do to get out of this. And you know, I'd been doing these long prayers, and I joined the prayer company somewhere up in Boston. I don't mention any names, but they sent me pages of prayers about that thick, even a book full of prayers. And it's a prayer for every condition, prayer for poverty and this, that, and the other. And I used to say them. And I found myself getting deeper and deeper into these situations that I was praying about. So I looked up one day, you know, I was standing on a subway station, and I looked across the sky, and I said, Lord, why is this happening to me? I'm praying to you every day, and I mean what I'm praying about. How come you're not giving me some of the things I need? So things continued to get worse. And again, as I say, until I came in here, I started learning how to dig within myself and pull out the answers to all of my problems. And it was very easy. And now I can say with confidence that I have achieved unusual goals. And this is only the beginning.
So you did not find the answers to your prayers until you found the answers within the presence of God in you. You see, that's interesting. And this is one of the subtle but very important differences in our teaching. We believe in prayers, yes. We have all kinds of prayers, but he was addressing his prayers, if you notice, to some God up in the sky. And we do not teach you to address your prayers to God in the sky, but to address your prayers to the God within you. And that's why so many people aren't getting any answers to their prayers, because they're trying to talk to somebody way off somewhere, or way up somewhere. You need to talk to the God in you. Now, how long ago has it been since you first saw our first telecast and started coming to these meetings and these classes?
It's been approximately 3 months.
All of that in 3 months?
3 months ago, I was a disaster.
Somebody say, wow. It lets you know that God isn't a slowpoke. 3 months ago, here was a man who says he was a disaster. Boozing it up. Drugging it up. And you said it got so bad you thought that maybe you wanted to end it all, huh?
Yeah, I just didn't have the guts.
Sick of living and afraid of dying. Just 3 months ago. And once he watched this television ministry and started coming to these services, he got turned on to the joy of living. He got turned on to the prosperity of living. He got turned on to the success of living. And right off the bat, got that job as an enrollment counselor at a technical school. I'm just so happy to be a part of your healing and blessing experience. I'm just so happy to have been a part of this whole wonderful experience for you and with you, because this is why we spend so much money in television and on radio. And you see, if it wasn't for television, we probably wouldn't have made contact with this young man. We get a lot of people by radio, we get a lot of people by our Action magazine, and we are really getting a lot of people from our television program now. Well, Scotty, I'm so glad for you. I'm so happy for you. I just don't know what to say. Anything else you want to say? Look, you know, you...
I'm happy too. I'd just like to say that I'm fully behind Reverend Ike and his ministry, and I believe in it, and I'll advise a lot of you people to grab some of the stuff he's throwing at you, because it's very good and very valuable.
Everybody say wonderful. Say it again.